Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark. I'm your host, Sallie, joined by my co-host, Katie. We're identical twin sisters. We invite you to join us as we investigate our similarities and differences in all things life has to offer. Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark Friday Feedback. I'm your host, Sallie.
And surprise, surprise,
Surprise, surprise!
Katie is joining today.
And this is like such a story of things that are just meant to happen for a reason because, to be honest, I recorded the Friday feedback minutes ago. And I end this episode with a poem that always makes me cry, and I promised I wasn't going to cry.
Maybe we start with the poem.
No, Katie, I
Maybe I will read it. I won't read it.
No,
right?
I can't. I need to end with it.
Okay.
But I was bawling like to the camera, and I'm not ashamed of having you guys see that. I was a mess. But that's why I look the way I do. If you think that I've been crying, I have been.
And I just got done with work, so I look the way I do because I came from work.
I got done recording, and I went to listen to the episode, and the audio was just really off and echoey. Mm-hmm. So I was a little frustrated, but it was meant to be because Katie walked through the door, and she's just meant to be here for our Friday
for some
feedback.
Reason, I had nothing to do with planning the Friday feedback, so I'm really interested to listen what you had planned.
So Katie's joining as a listener
as a listener, I'm drinking a glass of wine, decompressing from getting home from work, and arriving to my home with Sallie in it.
Yes, and this, I'm not having a glass of wine because I have to go to soccer tonight.
Oh, man.
So I coach both my kids.
She
in
coaches,
soccer.
yeah. She's not just a spectator. She's coaching.
I'm in it. Yeah. I'm in it. But anyway, this is Friday feedback, and first we're gonna just start with a couple people had asked us and reached out on Tuesday because we had the full moon this week, and we had a previous episode about
full moon.
I'm sorry, new moon. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, good thing she's here to catch
It's because we talk about what if you just continued?
What if I just continued? I think you're making me nervous.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm holding you accountable.
Boss Katie is in the house tonight or today. Anyway, some people reached out about the new moon because there was a new moon on Tuesday, and it was supposedly the strongest new moon of the year of 2024. So because we had an episode of manifestations on new moons, people reached out and they wanted to know what exactly I do. And I'm sure, I don't know if you got questions, but people reached out to me to ask what I do.
People did reach out, but I'm like, did we address it though?
No. You're thinking of, I talked on the moon water. You'll hear that on Monday.
Okay, got it.
Because we have news about that too. So you'll hear that on Monday. Anyway, people reached out to ask what they do for manifestations for the new moon. You can definitely go and listen to a previous episode where we talk on it, but I just want to tell you what I did specifically for this week's new moon, which was very, very similar to what I usually do. So this week for Tuesday, I honestly started manifesting even Monday because I knew this was a really powerful new moon. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ringing in my ears.
Yeah, you guys think we're crazy, but
I know.
we are a little bit crazy.
Someone's talking to me on the other side.
When I was at work earlier today, I was in the middle of a conversation. I was like, I just got high-pitched ringing in my ear. And they were like, what? And I was like, you know what? I know I sound crazy, but this means something to me, so I'm just like making a note of it.
Yeah, that was my left ear.
It was my left ear earlier. Okay, cool.
So, but it's funny because we're going to have a doctor reach out to us.
And they're going to be like, you're dying.
You have auditory something. Okay, so anyway. Oh my gosh, I was just telling Katie about one of our guests we have coming on.
Oh my gosh.
I need to stop. Anyway, she would know the reason, and I can't wait till she comes. Okay, so anyway. My new moon, what I did, I started manifesting kind of on Monday. What that looked like was basically just saying to the universe what I wanted. As I was driving the kids to school, I was kind of just saying it out loud. Tuesday, I went all in. I honestly Googled, and I've never done this, but I honestly Googled like positive manifestation songs, and there's a whole bunch. Mm-hmm. There's like artists that only sing positive manifestation.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe I'll add a couple to the description of this week's episode because they're really good. And I told Adam, I said, we're only listening to positive manifestation songs. I didn't want to listen to anything negative on Tuesday, just positivity, just like bringing positive things in. It was funny because somebody at my workout, they asked me, oh, how do you do it? And I was giving them an example and I said, thank you, universe, for the gifts I'm about to receive. Thank you for the babies. And I literally finished the manifestation and I was like, no, I mean, that's not what I want. I don't want that. That's not what we need right now. But I was like, I hope the universe knows.
You just done it so many times that's what came out.
That's my example. Like, I was showing how I phrased it and I used the baby thing. And I'm like, so if we add another baby to our family, it's because I accidentally manifested it.
And I always, on new moons, because...
Wait, that's not the end of my story.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
That wasn't my that's not all I did.
Okay.
So then I went home, and Adam came home from work early that day. And I filled up the tub like I did last time. Oh, thank you. I'm afraid this audio is going to be shit. I filled up the tub like I did last time, but this time it was in broad daylight instead of at night because it was my time away alone that I could get. I lit candles. I bought candles that they're in different colors, and I bought them from like a little like gem shop, and every color relates to something that you want. Like you light it when you're manifesting that thing. Well, I lit all my candles. So like the green candles for finances, the white candles for like anything. So I always say inner self-love and peace and protection. I kind of put a bunch on that. No, the pink candles for self-love. Okay, anyway, all the candles are for a different reason. I light them all. I go in the bath. I turn on some tunes that are really like calming and powerful. And basically then I start like kind of praying to the universe, and I say thank you to the universe for the gifts I'm about to receive. I say it as if they're already on their way. They're already coming. I know Jennifer Aniston has said that she says it like they've already come. I think as long as they're coming or they're here, you believe it, you put it out there, that's good enough. It was just funny this time around because it wasn't as quiet as last time, and like the kids were screaming in the background because it was like in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that doesn't like interfere with the power of the manifestation.
I don't know. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I did this round of manifestation. What did you do?
I also, I think, really started thinking about it on Monday. It was, the new moon was on Tuesday, but on Monday I was like really, really thinking about it. And then, do I have something on my face?
You have like a hair in your, there you go.
Oh, weird. But Tuesday came around, and I spoke on this in our last episode we recorded, although it's not been released yet. So, but to rehash it a bit, Tuesday came around, and I just felt like the manifestation I'd been working towards was in action. Like, I go to work and I just feel like I'm in my power. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My son was like so cool and easy that morning. It was out of the norm, but he had to get up earlier than usual. He had to go to school before anybody else got there. And he was totally brave and totally happy about it. And he woke up on his own.
Tuesday was just like a happy day.
He woke up on his own. He did it. He was like really proud of himself. I was like the ease that happened that day was really out of the ordinary because usually we're just trying to make it out of the house. And so a lot of it was like manifestation in action, like living the life we've been trying to live.
Oh, okay.
And then when I got off of work, which it was just like a really good, successful day. And then I get done and my partner and I go out, and I always try to be on the water for a manifestation because, and Sallie and I have been this our whole life. Like, we need to be looking at the sky manifesting, and I don't really understand that.
Now I'm in a bathtub.
Now you're in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Okay, but we used to, as children.
We did used to look at the stars a lot.
As children, this has always been something we would lay on the driveway and look up at the stars and just think about everything we wanted, and we talk about it, and we talk about what do you think is what is God? What is the universe? You know, like we've always been that type of human for some reason. I'm so happy we are, but like I really enjoy being outside looking up. So my partner and I, we went to dinner and then we ended up we went to the water and looked at the water and we talked about it. And it's new to him, so a lot of what I was doing was educating him on what I do, and
How did he take it? Was he freaked out or was he like, oh, cool?
He's just like, this is totally new to me. Like, you know, and I was like, I understand. And we had, at dinner, we had talked about how we both come from such different lifestyles because he grew up in the South and I grew up in the North. And it was a very in-depth and intense conversation about the differences from growing up in both the North and the South that I was like, I feel like it's important that this conversation is happening on this day because we reached a mutual understanding. Like for sure, one of our purposes in life is to educate the other one because we both like went back and forth.
And you know, it's Katie's purpose to educate him. No,
but like he's educating me too.
Educating
and it was just like, it was a profound conversation where like you don't recognize how much difference there is in a person depending on where they grew up.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's so much that was normal for him and so much that was normal for me, and they don't align or match. And working through that conversation on that specific day felt very substantial.
Okay. So I want to touch on something you said, visualization.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that visualization, if you can get to a spot where you can visualize what you want, and I do this regularly. Like, I feel like I get visions in my head regularly of the things I'm working towards.
Yeah.
But if you can do that, I've heard that that's actually more powerful than even speaking it. If you can visualize what you want, really visualize it. And I remember, like, when we were wanting a baby so bad, I would visualize, like, coming through the doors with a baby carrier, introducing a baby to Susie and Scott. Like, I think you do need to get to a place where you really do envision it. Like, you see yourself doing this.
And I think you need to get to a place where and it's harder when it comes to being a mother maybe, but like, I feel like you have to act as if you're already doing that role already, and
or your gifts are received
or you've already received them, because a lot of it I think is practice. Like, the more you're acting as though it's already here, for some reason it's easier to receive when it comes. I don't know, I don't understand everything about that, but like, people create vision boards. We always create vision boards. I need to update mine.
Not every new moon though.
Not every new moon, yeah. But it's just, that's like a daily reminder, like, oh, I see that when I leave.
This conversation is going to be like 50 minutes
This is going to be the biggest Friday feedback.
My last Friday feedback, or like the one I just recorded minutes ago, was like 10 minutes.
Okay, sorry. This is Friday feedback, but it's Friday feedback extended.
With Katie.
Let me wrap it up.
Katie has oh my Lord. But we're not done yet. I still have many things to go through.
Okay, last thing I want to say is like, if you need the visual, create a vision board. Just put it on next to your door, like your bedroom door, so you see it every time you leave your bedroom.
Yes.
That's that, okay?
But not every new moon. She's getting off track.
Not every new moon. I'm just saying, if you need a visual, just create a vision board.
Okay. So the next topic, I actually am happy Katie's here for, because I kind of went on my little soapbox with this. Because this was a topic that you and I debated about. And somebody sent me this video, and I was so happy.
Oh, God. Okay.
So this topic wasn't last week's episode, but the week before, when Katie said she believed it was a red flag if a man wasn't close with his mom. And then I convinced her it's not a red flag, it's just a green flag if he is. So when we decided that, basically we decided it's not a man's fault if he has trauma from his mom, like a bad childhood, whatever. It's a green flag if he is close, because obviously you want that. But in my head, while we were having that conversation, I'm not even kidding, Katie, I thought of one person I dated where his relationship with his mom was like a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think a lot of women experience that as well.
Yeah, and he like idolized her, kind of, and then he wasn't a good boyfriend. Anyway, and the mom wasn't like nice to girls. But anyway, this person sent me a TikTok, and I think it was about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So basically, this TikTok is a man, and he's talking about, hey, women, you think you found a good guy because he says he's close to his mom. well, don't be too soon to write off the narcissist because he might be a narcissist still. Basically, it talks about, and this might be true for women and dads or whatever, but he's talking about a mother and son relationship. There's something called enmeshment. And when I talked to my husband about it, they actually talked to him in therapy about it. Not that he had it, but he did use that term. But enmeshment. So basically, when a mother and son have enmeshment, the mother's bond with the son is like not allowing for him to grow into the man he's supposed to be. Boundaries are very, very blurred, if none at all. He basically idolizes her as the matriarch, and he respects her as the matriarch, and she can do no wrong. But because it's that dynamic, and she's so high and mighty for him, he never really gets to grow into his true self, really argue with her or express any of his own valid ideals or concerns. And what sometimes happens is that he learns to respect his mother, but he treats the women he dates as objects, and he doesn't respect any women. And oftentimes he's even abusive to the women he dates because he can't take out his own anger, frustrations, and feelings on his mother.
This is super fucking deep. And
it's true.
No, I totally get it. I guess like the moral of the story is like you can't make a judgment whether somebody has a relationship with their parent or not.
So that's what I said in the Friday feedback. It's never going to air. I said that things are just not black and white.
No.
You can't say, I think it's a red flag if a man is not close to his mom, because there are so many unique situations.
Yeah.
And when this guy described it, I was like,
I'm thinking of people now.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I think that, this conversation just is not black and white, and we're sorry that we made it black and white in that conversation we had, because that's not fair.
Thank you for educating us.
Yeah. And honestly, like I said, there might be something with like daddy issues or you know what I mean? The same thing. But this is like definitely a way to show like, it's not only
just because they have a relationship with their mother doesn't mean that they're going to be a good partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's also something I want to note for women that are raising boys, because I'm raising a son, you're raising a son, and obviously that's my worst nightmare, if he like respects and protects and idolizes me, but he treats his wife like shit. Like, it's almost like they treat their mom like the wife, not you. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're making decisions based on what their mom wants, but not you.
Yeah.
And that's my worst nightmare, to raise a son like that. Because I want my son to marry whoever he marries. And, like, I want him to, like, listen, respect, and be a team with her. At that point, like, I don't need...
Or him. Anybody.
Yeah, or I don't need, like, his validation as a mom at that point. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's where it gets really unhealthy.
I think when parents connect, I don't know,
their self-worth
to a child.
Yes.
Because I was going to say, this would never happen with me and my son, because I just view him as such an individual. Like, I'm like, we're not, yes, I am his mother, but we are not connected. His choices are his choices. And like, he does not need my approval. Like, it's just so different when you view your child as their own entity.
It'll be interesting when they become adults. But I just think, if you're interested, definitely look up enmeshment, because there was just so many descriptors about it. And when I was reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, it sounds like a horror movie.
But it's so common.
It's so common, right?
It's so common.
I wonder if it goes the other way. Like, it can't just be for men, right?
No, that's what I said. I'm like, I wonder
if girls can have enmeshment.
I think with parents, if anyone is like, basically, if your self-worth as a parent is reliant on your kids, basically doing whatever you want them to do, that's enmeshment. And that can happen with girls too.
But I mean, like, I'm sure, I know it can go both ways, I'm assuming, but like, do you know any women who really care about their parent more than their significant other when it comes to relationships?
I'm sure that there's women that go to their parents before their partner and stuff like that. I'm sure. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next thing that we are talking about, and I'm glad Katie's here for this too, because she brought up this last episode, was mom shame versus mom guilt. So I did look this up. Did you happen to look it up too, or no?
I haven't had time.
Okay, so I will share with you. But I think it'll ring a bell once you hear it.
Yes.
So mom shame focuses more on the self. So it'd be like, I am wrong, while mom guilt is focused on the behavior, like I did something wrong.
Okay.
So mom guilt would be like, I feel guilty for letting my kids play with their iPad for an hour today.
Got it.
Shame basically initiates the flight or fight responses, and shame has it really leads to anxiety, depression. It talked about headaches, weight gain. It's like really internalizing your shame around, like it's all on you. So like for instance, it said if you're feeling mom shame, you're feeling like you might say, I'm not doing enough. Like I'm just not doing enough. They sat and played games and it's my fault. Mm-hmm. Whereas like what you should reframe your mind to say is like, I'm doing my best, and my best changes day to day. And today, you know, we watched a movie and ate McDonald's, but tomorrow I know I'm gonna be different. You know what I mean? And I just was like, the mom shame is really sad to think about, because that's like saying that, yeah, you're just putting it on yourself, like you're just terrible and not doing enough and you're lazy, or like, you know, and saying like, I'm lazy, and that's sad. I feel like that's a different level than mom guilt, where it's just like a situation.
Yeah, but I do think, because when my friend and I talked about it, is ringing a bell. We said like most of what we experience is mom shame. Like it's
really?
Yeah, because it's
where
like
you say like, I'm not doing enough.
It's because it's like, I use the example of like, I'm not gonna get there until 5 p.m. Like I'm such a shitty parent.
Oh my god.
Or like, you know, but it's like we were talking about in relation to partners we've been with, and we're like, I don't think they go through that. Like we put it on ourselves, you know?
Oh my god, I'm so sad that you feel that way. Like you say that to yourself.
Yeah.
When I read it, I really experienced mom guilt a lot, where I feel guilt about like leaving them to go to work or leaving them to hang out with my own friends. But I don't ever say like, I'm selfish or I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't put it on myself.
Yeah. No, I think I put a lot of it on myself.
That's terrible. Oh my god, that's
I think that's really normal. Like, unfortunately, I think that's normal, but
they said, so like online it said that mom shame is what makes you unhealthy. That's what makes you like lead to like anxiety and depression, because you're literally like, that's self-talk that's like harmful to you.
Totally. I mean, it's something I have to work on for sure.
And like, that's the difference. And if you are experiencing mom shame, here's another person that is
also experiencing
I know I probably have in my life before, but I really like, it said to try your best to just every day just say, I did my best today, and tomorrow my best is going to look different.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? Because you can't, every day different circumstances come. Like you don't come late a lot to pick him up. You know, like
but there's like lot, I think there's just like a difference in like in my, I do this all the time. Like, I don't even want to get too far into it, but
you're comparing yourself?
I compare myself to, you know, like, I think I've gotten to a healthy place where I'm not comparing myself when it comes to certain things, but when it comes to momming, because I only have my son 50% of the time, and I don't have him 100% of the time. When I look at other moms that are like what I consider full-time momming, then I'm like, I just feel less than.
Oh, I hate that for you.
But there's something,
I hate that
therapy will be good for me.
Yeah, I hate that you even say full-time mom.
Right. No, I know I'm always a mom. It's something I always have to reiterate to myself. But the truth is, like, I don't always come home with him. You know, he's with his dad half the time.
I think when you're like in a situation like yours where you split your custody or whatever, there are things that you need to work through, you know, because that creates a lot of negative talk, but it's like something that you need to work through to like grow, you know?
Well, and like,
also people can relate to it. I'm sure there's a million people like listening.
Anybody who has been through a divorce and had to split custody, there's always, not always, hopefully, but like, I think in the beginning at least, there's going to be shame around the fact that you chose to split up your family. You chose this path for your child. You chose this path for your family. And like, we know that we're better suited in this path, but there's shame because you still experience those moments where your son comes home and he's like, why does Susie and Scott live with both their mommy and daddy? Or why does Susie and Scott have each other? Why don't I have siblings? And he's been saying a lot of that recently because he's getting a little bit older. And I think that those are Sally's children, by the way.
I think we mentioned
but then you take it out on yourself, because the reality is you made that decision, and one day you just hope and pray that they understand why that decision was made.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the thick of it and they're so young and they don't understand, you just, at least I do, internalize
you internalize the shame around your choice. But I don't want to dismiss your feelings about it, but I am reading a book right now, and I don't want to even say the author because she's coming on our podcast.
Oh, great.
But basically, I just read a chapter on this, and basically a lot of people who get divorced feel these feelings, but what you did for your child was you were breaking a generational curse, maybe even a karmic pattern.
We think it's karmic.
Yeah, which would have continued into their life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so even though you can feel shame about it, you really broke a cycle. And that is the best gift you could give to him. And even if your son doesn't realize it today because he's a 5-year-old little boy, someday you will be able to talk with him about it. And someday his dad will be able to talk with him about it. And that, to me, is strength. I think that's strength and powerful, because it's hard to make that decision, especially when society is telling you need to stick together. So I give you so much credit, and I think that's very powerful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. You'd be reliving that pattern again. You finally broke it. So you need to give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to cry?
No, I actually might cry for this, which I'm going to try my damnedest not to, because I've already read it once and bawled today. Mm-hmm. So the last thing we want to leave you with today, since it's Mother's Day weekend, is a mom poem. And this was sent in by a friend, and she sent it a while ago, and I meant to record it when we did our Mother's Day episode, but I forgot to mention it. So I wanted to read it to you today, and I'm going to try not to cry while I read it. But this is to the moms out there who are just amazing and shining their light, and we love you. So
get your singing voice on.
I also stumble over the words sometimes, and I'm going to try really to read it nice and smooth.
Okay.
I saw a young mother with eyes full of laughter, and 3 little shadows came following after. Wherever she moved, they were always right there, holding onto her skirts, hands onto her chair. Before her, behind her, an adhesive pair. Don't you ever get weary as day after day your 3 tagalongs get in your way? She smiled as she shook her pretty young head. I'll always remember the words that she said. It's good to have shadows that run when you run, that laugh when you're happy, or hum when you bum. For you only have shadows when your life's filled with sun. I did it without crying.
I'm tearing up.
What part gets you?
The following, or get in your way, the get in your way part, because all the time, my son, it's just, every parent knows this. I said it earlier in the episode, but just to get out the door is such an effort every morning.
Yeah.
And
it slows you down.
You're they're moving so slow. Come on, be faster, be faster. And then one day you're going to be I miss having that.
So the part that gets me, and I'm so proud of myself for not crying, because you guys, I will post the crying version, because I was just literally, couldn't even make words. But the part that gets me is when she says, it's good to have shadows that run when you run, laugh when you're happy, and hum when you bum. Because it just makes me cry, because honestly, you know that, you know all the sticky fingers, all the shirts that have stains on them that you wear, all the just everything that's just, you can almost like envision this woman, but they're just like little lights, and when you're sad or you're stressed, they're still like at this happy state of like just innocence.
Yeah.
And it truly is like they're just little rays of sunshine.
They're kind of like the light. Yeah, exactly.
Really just all like little rays of sunshine.
I encourage everybody to go watch Bluey, even if you're just an adult, because it really does paint that picture.
This has come up. No, this has come up so many times. So I just want to give credit to this author. Unfortunately, she's anonymous.
Oh.
Or he. I think it's a girl, obviously. But obviously.
Contact us.
No, but I searched and everything came up with anonymous author. And it's just like the most beautiful poem. I will put it in our description notes of this episode. But yeah, so Bluey, Katie, I was at my boot camp today with all grown-ass adults, and it came up for like the 80th time.
Yeah.
Where everyone was like, have you seen the episode Bluey, The Sign?
The Sign is it was such an amazing episode, but I really don't even think it's the best one. There's so many good ones.
But if you want to just entertain us, truly, if you're an adult, I'm not even kidding you. I was with a group of adults and they were talking about it. And so Adam and we had the kids in bed one night and we opened a bottle of wine, and Adam's like, do you want to watch that Bluey episode that everyone keeps talking about? We watched it without children. And I will tell you, we were bawling our freaking eyes out.
I know people that don't have children that watch it because the writing is just so good. It's so heartfelt. I would say, disclaimer, trigger warning, if you watch it, you might want children. So like there's that too.
So cute. It captures it so well.
It captures parenthood perfectly, and it's just a wholesome, heartwarming show that you'll love.
Let's just give them the homework of watching The Sign. The episode is called The Sign, the one that I want you to watch.
Okay.
And
now we've recorded a full-length podcast episode on Friday Feedback because I'm here and I couldn't shut up.
I'm praying the audio worked. But anyway, we'll end it there. We love you guys. We hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. Mamas, just have the best time doing whatever fills your heart. We love you. We'll talk again on Monday for our episode about twin flames, soulmates, and the TikTok about man versus bear.
Yeah. Would you rather be in a forest with a man or with a bear? And this is a question to the women out there.
All right. We'll chat Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. It's Sallie. We're going to leave our story there for today and pick up next week on Twin Study After Dark. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, please rate, review, and subscribe. We'll meet again next week for more Twin Studies. Bye.